morning.
Good morning.
Well, this is pretty exciting.
It is.
This is last minute deals. I'm BC with Spirit Cars.
I'm Brian Newland, and I'm one of the builders of the 27 Roadster.
And a car that's going for points this year.
We are. We are
Beautiful
on the
car.
ISCA show circuit and try to put everybody in an exciting mode about building a car of their own.
Well, and it's already a famous car.
Yeah.
Does it have a name?
The project.
The Project? That's the name. The Project, all right. And this is?
I'm Kent.
Kent? Tell us your story. I got your story, but they don't know you.
Well, I bought this T-Bucket project, I guess, at Swap Meet, and they said the guy got sick and he couldn't get it. Well, it didn't finish, and then he was changing it the way he wanted it, but it's basically all in pieces.
Oh, so it's not together. Is it painted or?
Yeah, but I'm painting that.
Kind of, sort of, no. You got the motor, you got it.
Yeah, I've got the motor, I've got
Small box
everything.
Chevy.
Yeah.
350 trans probably.
I've got everything, but no wheels and tires, no headers, no intake.
Well, I would imagine that Summit Racing could help you with the wheels and tires.
That's a good.
And they're a sponsor of the World of Wheels.
Yep. look at this guy.
We got the Summit right behind
us.
us.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask. We got a car manufacturer. That's what we are. But we don't build cars. We build dreams.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you wanted to see that?
Oh, since I was about 15, probably.
There you go.
Maybe a little longer than that.
There you go.
I think your story might be different, but I'm going to ask the same question. How long have you wanted to achieve it?
Well, actually, I got involved in trying to street rods about 4 years ago. A friend of mine I was involved in the Corvette world for pretty much my whole life, and a friend kept trying to talk us into trying the street rod side of the world and building something on our own. And unfortunately, he aged out, and that was kind of what pushed me over the line to start building the car. And it was during COVID, so we looked at the kit, bought the kit, and then started working on it from there and built it from the ground up. I'd never done it like ever before on a full build and learned an awful lot.
It took me almost 30 years. I wanted one when I was a kid, probably 15. A company called CCR, California Custom Roadsters. Had in the back all the magazines, buy the plans and build your own car. And I looked at it and I just counted the cost.
Just so you know, the $150 doesn't exist anymore.
No. Well, there used to be a build a T-Bucket for $3,000. It was by there was an actual booklet job. Yeah, we better count the cost.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to build my first one, like 30 years. But after I built my first one, I'm probably at least several thousand into it now.
Oh, yes.
And that first one is part of the prototype of the one that you have.
Yeah.
It was a 23, but you have a 27.
Yes, I have a 27.
So you probably have a 23 with a pickup box on it.
Yep, it's got a pickup box.
You have a top on it?
No.
Does it have doors? Or,
No.
so you have to step over.
Yeah.
That's how we were in the beginning. And we added an insert and doors. That was one of the first. When you get a little older,
Yeah.
the knees don't work quite like they did. And then if you have a wife or a girlfriend, it's not so glamorous when they're
I was lucky to get up here.
Oh.
I know what you're saying.
So what's your next step?
Well, they cut on the frame, and I think I've got a guy welded back. You know, I haven't welded since I was in high school with the old stick welder, so I'm not sure I can do that. But they started to cut the frame, I don't know why. Widen it, I don't know why. Cut the frame a couple places. They cut the transmission now. So that'll be fun.
Maybe they're going to add a different style transmission.
I don't know.
So you've got a front end,
Yeah.
like 4-inch drop axle, probably tube axle.
Yeah.
It's a tube axle,
Yeah.
radius rods,
Yeah.
like a hairpin radius rod,
Yeah.
2 of those. That's all attached. You got this,
Nope. Nothing's attached.
no brackets for that or nothing.
Well, the front axle has got the spring on, everything. Nothing's attached. Hairpins are all by themselves.
I guess when I say attached, I mean to the frame.
No.
The
nothing's
brackets,
attached.
the brackets are on the frame or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a matter of assembly.
Well, but they butchered the spring first. And they started cutting. So I got to put a new spring post on the front.
Okay, and then on the back,
It's got coilovers in the back.
all right, that's the coilovers, so you got
So you got all the basic needs.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of realigning them and getting it all put back together.
It's got a really neat, what do you call it, panhard bar. Instead of the one,
it's got a pivot on it, so on both
Yeah.
sides. And,
Nice.
well, if you look at the geometry, and then, so if I'm going to swing an arc like this, I want to keep my rear end from going like that, because it's just on the shocks like that, it can flop over one way or another. So when you have it like that, the geometry lets it go straight up and down. Where if it's just a panhard rod, like you said, the swing of that arc, which however minor that is, your rear end can go a little bit. People say there's bump steer on the front end too when you use slingshot steering. And it's so insignificant that it doesn't matter. I mean, that's what that whole story was. It's so insignificant, it doesn't matter. And if it travels a little bit, it ain't gonna.
Well, once you get your welding stuff put back together, there's a million welders that come out and help you, and those guys do it every day. So it's just a matter of finding one locally that you feel comfortable
I
with.
talked to my muffler guy.
There you go.
He's got a lot of experience.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it up.
So is he a car guy?
Huh?
Is he a car guy?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's a big part of this. It's like the relationship that you build. So you got a whole kit.
Yeah, I bought the Deluxe 21 or 27.
When you say is that super kit?
Yes.
From Spirit Cars, we have
Spirit Cars.
a Spirit, a super kit.
Right.
Have the
Right.
like everything.
Yeah, and I was able to have you guys make the chassis and put the suspensions and all on it, and then I finished it from that point forward.
Okay, so in-house we actually assembled it and painted the chassis.
You
so-
did the chassis and the frame,
Okay.
and as far as the suspension, with all the brake lines, because you have better lines than I do.
Well, there's a lot of tricks to the. We were talking about tricks earlier, and you mentioned about using tape
Yes.
to match some holes that you needed to match, but there's no way to really do it. Putting the tape on the, I think it was
on
headlight
headlight
mount. So you cut it there, cut it out with a razor blade, cut the holes out, and then you can take it and transfer it to the next one that you do exactly. And I use that a lot. I was just using it the other day because we put a latch in the car. Well, I want that exact shape of the latch, and I want where the holes are, then I can just put it on the car. It was probably 30 years ago, I don't know about it now, when somebody showed me that trick. Yeah, and we were talking about it, and I remembered it.
Transferring holes.
Transferring the
Otherwise you
hole.
gotta line 'em up.
It was on a fender that didn't have the hole for the antenna. He said, well, just put some tape on there and mark it. And on the old fender. I'm like, what? And he showed me that. And it was an aha moment. So for 30 years, it's like, well, it's easy. But if you don't know those little tricks sometimes.
Because once you started assembling it again, it gets a lot of motivation. You see a lot of things, and you can start to visualize what you're going to end up with. And then you start putting the pretty stuff on, it really gets exciting.
So you like to clean work. And now, you probably, if you're watching this video, they've probably seen your car.
Yes.
So, what's the name again? I'm bad with names. I can't hardly remember.
We call it the project.
The project. So the project is clean. No, but it's clean. It's like incredibly detailed.
Yes, we spent a lot of time on mine because I wanted to build it as a show car, not necessarily a driver. We went and got a lot of the fancy bolts and nuts and washers and the detailed type oriented. We had some custom brackets made for everything. We had custom hoses made. And then Dan Labonte from Jalpro painted the car. It's what brought it to car.
If you look at the car, it's great. I mean, it's one thing to be shiny and whatever color you like, but it's another thing to be straight. Were you part of that project? You got
Oh yeah, I spent two weeks solid sanding it before the guy would paint it. So
blocking,
blocking and blocking and blocking. Just when I thought I was done, he'd spray it on and I could start over.
So how'd you block?
Well, we started out with 80 grit, and then it went. We use a mist spray, and that'll show your highs and lows in your paint and on your body.
When you say mist spray, a guide coat, like a
it's
black.
It's a guide coat. Yeah.
Okay, a guide coat. So when you sand it, you can see the high spots.
Right, and you sand it until that's gone.
Okay.
And then we started with a block, and then we started 80, 120. Then went to 220, 300, 600, and then primered it a few times, and started over at the 300, and then once the final priming was done, then we went to 800 and then shot it.
Oh, so you painted at 800?
Painted at 800, and then after that was done, they blocked it at 1500. I didn't do it. Once it was painted.
They didn't trust you?
I didn't trust
you didn't
myself.
Trust yourself? Okay.
Once they got it painted. Then he did 1500 and then buffed it, and then we did the clay bar and then started building it up from there. So it's the best compliment I get is people ask me for steel or fiberglass, and that to me is really a nice compliment.
It's a beautiful car. I don't know if you've seen the car.
No, not yet. I didn't see it when I walked in.
Well, it sets the bar up pretty high.
Yeah.
So the tools. Tell me the tools for blocking.
Just basically the little rubber square thing and a 12-inch flat bar. That's what we went with. Nothing bigger than that.
Okay, sometimes you can take a good stir stick, not the cheap flimsy one, but a good one you can wrap around that.
Right. Yeah, we did that in the door jams and where you put in the where we strained it out with a filler.
And they got hard sanding blocks that you can wrap your paper around.
Right.
And they got foam blocks.
Right. We use the rubber ones. I became pretty proficient at it.
And some people can some people can feel it, and some people can't. Actually, there's a high spot right here, no low spot right here. You know, and some people don't feel that.
I'll be the first to tell you that I was well guided on what to do.
But if somebody's going to sand by hand, and you can do it, you can sand by hand and still get the same effect.
Oh yeah.
But you can't sand with your fingers because you're sanding a groove in it. You got to sand with your palm, right? And it's almost like wax on too.
Oh yeah.
You know, you don't want to make grooves going straight.
Yeah. Learned an awful lot doing that. But the guide coat's the key.
To get the car to that level, there's no stopping.
No.
There's nothing in this world that is perfect.
Right.
And it takes a lot of effort. When you see a car like yours, I can appreciate it.
But there's everybody else in between too. I mean, I wanted to build a show car, so that's what we did. And I'm more paranoid probably driving it than somebody that built the driver. And they're both having fun. You're both out having a great time. You're building it the way that you like it, and that's what's important.
So your goal for the car?
To drive it.
Nice.
Like in town, go to shows, hang out.
I've never done any of that, so I don't know. Just drive it. Probably around the block like I do all my other cars.
We gotta wake up the neighbors once in a while with them fights.
So are you a motor guy though?
No. Took a mechanics class when I was in high school. Found I didn't want to be a mechanic.
Okay.
I learned that real quick. Yeah, I know a little bit, but
So overall, you're just a guy that has a general knowledge of a lot of things.
yeah.
And what you don't know, there's YouTube.
And I was going to go that exact same direction, but you go to YouTube.
I tell people to go to YouTube and look at stuff all the time.
Google it, yeah. And don't believe what you can say it from behind the camera. What do I always tell you?
Don't believe anything you hear, read, or see. Do your own research.
So don't believe anything you hear, read, or see. Just because we said it here and we're saying it with authority, don't make it true. So, but the best way to learn is from somebody who's already done it before. And if you got a hot rod buddy, it don't get better than that. So just you're hanging out.
Well, that's the fun thing about going to the shows, is you get to meet other people. I've been in years and years ago. We showed a lot, and then I took a long break from it. And it's fun to go back and meet those people again and relearn. And it fills a void that you just don't have in other ways.
Well, I appreciate you putting your car together and going, because you motivated me. I have not done this for years.
We have had that conversation.
So, and I'm actually enjoying it. I'm going to do it a little differently than I used to if I show up, and maybe on an airplane now instead of driving all night and all day the next day to get there to set up. But it's fun to hang out with people and talk to people and do. So you know how you build anything big? How you get anything big accomplished? You know how you do that?
Start on it, I guess.
How do you eat? Yeah, there's number one. You got to start. How do you eat an elephant? Surely you've heard this one.
No, I haven't heard that.
You've not heard that? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Oh, there you go.
So don't get frustrated about what's over here. Life is all about being faithful in the little things anyway. It's about the details. So to have a car on your level, you've got to really be focused on the details. You have a car that you want to drive, well, it needs to steer, it needs to stop.
What's another thing? Doesn't have a steering column.
Okay, well, back in the day, there was no flaming rivers around and China brand knockoffs of all the cool stuff that us Americans have come up with, where you just pick up the phone and call and here it comes. An old GM column. An old tilt GM column. GM is good because all the wires are always the same. You get like a Ford or a Chrysler, you don't know what they're turning in. A lot of the wiring kits that you can get is wired already. There's some wiring kits you can get, and
We had this conversation last night.
wiring is kind of, when it comes to computers, LS motors are big now. The whole fuel injection and the computer thing is big. A lot of kit, you just buy the wiring harness, plug it all in, buy it all, and you can take an old computer, and but they have to have what they call it, flash. Wife is telling me to call Hillary to have that figure that out, but I'm not that guy. I'm not the programmer computer. Give me a schematic and I can make the wires go to here and understand. People think differently.
And when you're looking at your wire harness, get the ones that are marked. Really important.
Well, mark two ways.
I tell you about that from
experience. Color coded, and they say on there what it is. So it's two easy ways to do it. So,
and then figure out how you want to lay it out on your car before you actually start moving things and kind of lay it out. And that was a bigger challenge for us because we've never done it before. Because you look at it and it's pretty intimidating when you open up the box. But the farther you get into it, the more it lays out in the different directions. It starts to make sense in your head as you're laying it out.
Well, you got a really nice gauge.
I have a Dakota digital.
So you're decoded. So you had a wiring loom coming off of it.
Yeah, it was cheated. We cheated a lot on that because I didn't have to wire up any of the gauges.
So it's plug it in, which is nice. You can pull the gauges out.
Yeah.
But if you're doing just regular individual gauges, are you doing a cable through your Speedo or? Do you have the gauges yet? Or?
The car, I've got it, like I said, everything but the tires, wheels, headers, intake,
Well, you bought got a lot of stuff then.
You're ready.
wiring.
Basic kit, like you said, right? And even bench build it. If I'm sitting right here and I know my gauges are right here and my firewall's right here, I can lay my wires going this way, going up back. I can cut the short ones. I can already basically terminate them on my gauges right here. And if we're doing it at the shop, I've actually got a little jig. You put the gauges in. So your fuse block will be sitting here and you can get it all wired that way. I'm too old to lay underneath the dash of a T-bucket anymore. And then you lay it out that way and send the, left front might have your fan and, some of your horn and stuff. And the right front may have your Chevy motor you said. So you got your starter and all that going down that way and you got your a left turn signal and a right turn signal. If you run your wires out both sides for your headlights, then you don't have to run your wires across the front. Clean as good. I didn't see a wire on your car.
No, they don't exist.
I mean,
they're hidden well.
I could look at your car and go, how does this thing work? There's no wires. I mean,
right. Well, my brother's the one that wired all that up. He was an aircraft person, so it was very important to be done exactly the right thing.
well, I bet there's a rubber grommet on any edge that could be frayed.
Oh, there's all sorts of cool things. But the joke is that I'll just say, get out of the way and drill a hole and get going in, but he's got to measure it and mic it and everything else. There's a reason that he did the wiring and helped me do the wiring over the years. We had a lot of fun doing it. But that doesn't mean that you can't buy a kit and do it and just take your time and it'll work out well for you.
And it doesn't need to be over-engineered.
No.
You can put a motor on the ground, and with a couple wires, you can start the motor with just let it run up.
Just remember, and this is the best advice I got, is don't be afraid to ask for help. And that doesn't mean that you're inviting everybody to take over the job for you, but there's a wealth of information out there by picking up the phone or going online or whatever, and winging it doesn't work out. Because you'll end up redoing it. I can tell you that from experience. When I thought I had it figured out, and when I came in there, I realized, I don't think that's the right way of doing that. But if I ask for the help up front, it saves you a lot of extra headache. It's not being negative. Just
Brake lines, double flare. A brake line needs to be double flared. I mean, you can flare it and it'll work, but I'm just throwing that out there. For safety's sake, you don't want a brake line break.
Flare, good with them little flaring tools, but you know, can't seem to get to work on my Falcon though.
Well, we finally we got hydraulic, so I'm kind of spoiled, but getting that double flare just right is really important.
the other thing is make sure you buy the little tools that make your life easier. I know that's Harbor Freight as an example. It's not stuff you're going to make a living with, but sometimes the little unique tools for the one-time job work. Or go to Snap-on and get the real stuff.
No. So, okay, you mentioned Summit.
Yeah.
I want Harbor Freight to be a sponsor for me.
Yeah.
I love Harbor Freight.
Oh, me too. I use them a lot.
I got a big Snap-on box, and his brother has got a few things. So I gave him my box. I said, when I'm not around, I don't need my box anymore. You can have my box. And it's a nice Snap-on box. It's a Bel Air box, only 200 big tools. I mean, he's the kind of, he really loves his tools. He don't even let me use my tools anymore because I might get them dirty or use them or something. So I got. But when you go to Harbor Freight, buy their little bit better brand of tools. They're pretty good quality tools. And you go back in there, if something happened to it, they will replace it just like that. And they have a set of Icon boxes. Have you seen their Icon boxes? I want to fill my wall up with Icon boxes. That's my dream. So that was a free ad, and I didn't get paid for that from
for us, like the fastener they use are all hex heads. So they have the hex head. Sometimes you got to get these little goofy angles. You go into Harbor Freight, they got one that looks like a hex head wall. And you're like, try that. My God, it works. It works out great. You get into different angles. It's like $16, not to do a Harbor Freight ad. The other thing is, like, I made all my fuel lines and oil lines and everything, and you get the A&M fittings, which look really cool, but you have to build them and cut your things out. Spend the extra $80 and buy the little thing to make it work. It'd save you a lot of headache. It's little stuff like that. A lot of little stuff.
So what's your biggest concern?
Right now, I just need to get it welded up, and then I can start putting it together. Weld up the frame back together. Start putting it together. The wiring will be fun because they cut off all the wires. I don't know if
well, you're probably better off starting from scratch on that. That way you know what you got, trying to figure out what's wrong.
I'm not sure what kind of wheels I want.
you don't have a concern. You're planning your project.
Yeah.
Just don't stall. If you stall and it sits for 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
well, then it turns into.
One thing is the paint. All paint. And I think it was put together by a professional. I mean, the frame has been, like you're talking about, block sanding. The front frame has been block sanded.
Nice.
It was, but somebody decided to cut it out.
Well, you got to start back. You're restoring it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot better to find it on
a
the
paint
field.
everything.
Okay. Well, you know,
I don't know.
They
for
make
sure.
different colors.
Granddaughter
and they'll-
thought it was great.
You can put whatever color you want to on it.
I don't know this for sure. I have not seen the car, but we're in Kansas City. We're founders of like the original MTBA, so this is going back way back. A lot of T-bucket people. There was a pink car up here. Younger guy owned it, and I got to know him fairly well. And boy, did he catch up. Having a pink car, but it was a pretty nice car.
Wouldn't that be funny if it's the same color?
Boy, I would love to see it.
I would, yeah. And I left my phone at home. I had two, but
Well, you don't see too
I
many
don't know.
real pink. I
really
mean, like pink.
there's no history of it at all. That's another thing I like. History of it.
Well, how's the process? So, what's the process? What's the process?
You know, I don't know that. I was at the swap meet. I walked one side and people were getting ready to leave. So I said, well, I'll walk through the other side real quick. And I see this pink roadster body clear across the tee bucket, clear across property, because it was like hot pink. I'm gonna go see what that is. And I got to talking. Actually, the man's wife had it. I told him she was a car salesman. I told my son see if he wanted to help with a winter project. And of course, I haven't seen him since.
They usually have builder titles, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. You have to get it bonded, and I'm not sure how to do it.
Also depends on your state. Are you in Missouri or Kansas? Missouri's pretty straightforward. They actually, if you get a hold of Jefferson City, they'll give you a sheet that will literally tell you the exact steps you need to do. And then it's a matter of taking it to an inspection station after you've done it. But make sure you keep all your receipts and document the car as you're doing pictures or whatever. And it's pretty easy actually in Missouri. So California, not so much.
Well, I know the answer, but I want to ask you the question anyway. So how's yours title?
My title was I cheated. I went from Spirit.
Okay.
And it has a 27 replica. So you guys, they actually, when I bought the kit, that was part of the completed thing. Once it got finished, Josh put together and got me the title.
So Spirit Cars is actually co-manufactured, and we manufacture an assembled vehicle. So I don't know if we got you the title before it was done or
No, I had to have
quickly,
it
yeah.
finished.
So we can create the certificate of origin that puts a 17-digit VIN number on it, but we got legislation passed in Arkansas where they will take that 17-digit VIN, instead of calling it a 2024 Spirit, they'll call it, in your case, a 1927 Ford replica. So the title will actually say Ford replica, and then we can run it through. We're also a new car dealer, so we run it through a new car dealer. We're the first owner with the certificate of origin.
And then all I had to do was take that title. It's a regular title, and then I took that to the Missouri Department of Transportation.
Where do you go?
Osage Beach.
They transfer it just like a used
Yeah,
car.
it's just a used car. Yeah,
You
they
have
have it
safety.
inspected.
You have a safety
Yeah.
inspection.
Yeah, but that's simple. Car's brand new at that point. So, and the guys that did the bleeding of the brakes, make sure everything was good when I was done with it. It went really easy. Really easy.
Every state is a little bit different. Pretty much don't antagonize the person that you're talking to at the revenue office. And you get, my wife always tells me you get more flies with honey than you do vinegar. So it comes down to somebody saying, okay, you know, because when the title process goes through. So I would just recommend to anybody, if you don't have a title, learn more about titling in your state than the person that you're going to be dealing with.
And each state will have a breakdown.
Yeah, they'll tell you what you need, but you're going a little bit outside the realm of what's normal when you're dealing with a street rod like this.
Missouri looks at that as it is whatever the year of the car is what you have to have for safety feature. So being that it's probably a 23, there wasn't a lot of safety back in 1923.
No airbags?
But no. But if you have turn signals and if you have headlights, they have to be working in order for it to, if they're there, they have to inspect it. If it doesn't exist because it didn't exist in 1923, then they don't look at it.
We do want to build cars that can go on the road, more than just yard. That is the goal.
Well, it sounds like you should have fun building that,
Yeah.
bringing it back to life. First day you turn in and start that motor, trust me, it'll be worth every bit of it.
So do you follow the social medias? What Facebook do you follow? What groups do you follow?
Oh,
How did you find us this morning?
I watch you on YouTube.
Okay.
Saw you on YouTube. I don't know if you watch more on YouTube?
Not car stuff, but yeah, I do. I'm a wannabe farmer.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, you need to watch Kevin Brown up in Iowa with
Okay. My wife is big on it.
Junkyard Pigs.
Okay, yeah.
He does some farming.
Okay, yeah.
And I watch all the. Right now, they probably wish I'd leave them alone. The Drag Illustrated. They're having a big race in February, next weekend, right before the Super Bowl,
Nice.
down in Florida. And they say it's the biggest race and stuff. So I'm like, nah, it's not the biggest.
There's a lot of Facebook T-bucket groups.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it just
Yeah, when I
it
think
just
of
create
something,
a crazy
sure.
large amount for the
Yeah,
type
It
of
is.
car.
And if you look at how many members, it's mind-boggling that there'd be that many T-bucket together. I think the T-bucket, the one that's just T-buckets sale or whatever, there's like 15 or 20,000 people.
They say there's more 23 T's registered than were ever built.
I don't know about that, but there was a lot of them built. But yeah, that would be good. So what else we got?
Well, I guess
This
that's
went
it.
pretty good for the first time
This is
around.
our first time doing one of these. We're going to do it again in Chicago and probably
I won't be
Indianapolis.
there.
Well, we'll try to get some more people to follow us a little bit.
So
Answer
your
more
next
questions.
stop is
I'm going to do Dallas next week,
Dallas next
week
week.
after next. And then I go from Dallas, Milwaukee, Detroit, Chicago, and then Indianapolis is where we'll end up. And then if I have enough points from that, I'll qualify for the regionals, which will be in Houston in the fall, and then the World Championship will be in January.
Okay, I'll tell you. Here's how you can help this guy out, Brian.
Send money.
Send money. Yes, send money.
Just kidding.
It's not cheap to go around on a circuit. Call the promoters of those shows and say you're thinking about wanting to go, but is the project there? Ask them, is the project Brian's car going to be at that show? That might be-
27 Roadster.
The 27 Roadster, yeah. Keep mentioning that. Keep him up there. Let's make this car famous. It is
It'd be
already.
fun. It'd be fun. It's been a ball. A lot of fun building the car and doing the show. So kind of a bucket list, so we're going for it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you this, and I decided already I'm going to do it on camera.
What's that?
I'm going to ask you this on camera. I'll put
Okay.
you on the spot.
I'm good.
We used to do what we call the Buckethead Bash, and you're invited to that.
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right, so we haven't done it for quite a while, but we've been supporting a local show. It's the car craze in September.
Yep.
So we used to do a week-long event in Mount Home. It was a big deal.
That'd be fun.
We're going to start doing it again this September, and I think it's the second weekend. I'll get the dates
Just
out.
gotta make sure it's not the Grand Prix in Nashville.
Well, You'll have sometimes you have to priorities in life. But I'm inviting you, and we've got the museum. Well, I would love to see the car set up.
That'd be fun.
And we're going to do it more than just that Saturday show. I think we'll go to the house on Saturday afternoon. Maybe.
Well, I think if we can get everybody that's had a Spirit car that's built, get there for that. I mean, there's a lot of them. We could have a lot of fun, regardless of where in the country they go.
Well, I'm going to call it Spirit Friends and Family.
There you go.
So even if you don't have a Spirit car,
That's right.
it's too bad. We're so far behind. I know it's tough to get a Spirit car right now. We're not even taking orders for turnkeys. But maybe in a couple months we'll start doing that again. I got to get caught up. But it's the fellowship of,
Absolutely.
and the people involved with Two Buckets, it blows my mind. You could have some super high-end, and I hate to say rich and poor, but more financially able than somebody else that's just putting it together, and everybody's equal when you come together. That's what I love about it so much. And it's not even about the car. The car just brings us all together to kind of hang out and talk about some of what we just did. How do you do that? Or how do you do that? Or,
And if you do have questions, there's your people to help answer them for you. Because there's everything known and everything possible.
every mistake has been made already. Why make it again?
You never learn from the easy parts.
Well, I tell a lot of people, I tell my guys too, there's no one right way to do it, but there are some wrong ways. So it makes the car, everyone's a little bit different. But they need to steer, they need to stop, they need to go, they need to be safe on the road. That's a fundamental aspect.
Well, we look forward to this summer and look forward to seeing you and hopefully get some support going the rest of the show season.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you, sir. And see you again.
All right.
We're done.